Okay. Hi, welcome. This is so exciting because this is the first time that anyone has used this stage. So thank you so much for coming today. We are so excited to have you here, and we're really honored and excited to be able to be here on the first chance to use the stage at the Martin County Fair. My name is Steph Johnson, and I am lucky enough to get to work with an awesome grant. It's a drug-free community grant in Martin County. It's called the Martin County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition. And I know that's a big, long name, but what it means is that we get to work with amazing young people to try and prevent them from ever starting using drugs or alcohol. And so, we have a booth down at the fair here. Please stop by our booth. Join us. We meet monthly. Our coalition meetings are the second Tuesday of every month at the Fairmont Green Mill Holiday Inn. And it's open to anyone in Martin County who would like to try and help reduce underage drinking and drug use. And so today I have gotten together a panel of people who are going to help us talk a little bit about what we see in Martin County. And one of the things that we've been seeing a lot of lately is vaping. Vaping, Juuling, e-cigarettes. And so we thought we would just do a little education and have a conversation with all of these people here and tell you a little bit about what we're doing to prevent it, but also what we're seeing so that you can be educated and empowered to be able to do something among your people too. So. Again, I'm Steph Johnson. I'm going to pass it around and let everyone introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Liz Heimer. I'm with the American Lung Association.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shelley Larson, and I'm the Youth Intervention and Prevention Coordinator for Martin County.
My name is Kaylee Hernandez, and I work with the Statewide Health Improvement Partnership for Tobacco Prevention.
And I am Stephanie Schmitz, and I'm with Southern Plains Education Cooperative, and I am the principal of our area learning center.
Great. So can you guys hear us okay? Is it hard to hear? No? You can't hear. Okay. I wonder if we can turn, we're going to just adjust it a little bit. This is all brand new to us too, so we want to make sure we can hear. And we definitely want to help everyone else be able to hear us. So how does that sound? Does that sound any better? Is it a little bit louder? So what we're going to do is we have this panel of these amazing ladies here who are working with young people in our community to help prevent vaping and drug use and underage drinking. And I'm going to start off with just asking a few questions. And I'm going to start off with letting you know that an increase in e-cigarettes or vaping means a decrease in cigarettes. So that's good, right? Is that good? No, it's like we're just trading it off. The great thing about our young people is we've seen so many young people choose not to smoke, and that's so exciting. Because we know they care about their lungs, and we know that they want to be free of all the things that can happen to you when you do smoke, like cancer. So it's disappointing now to see that young people are choosing to use the vaping devices. So the decrease among adult smokers in cigarettes was seen before e-cigarettes ever hit the market. Now with e-cigarettes, we are actually seeing an increase in cigarettes using among kids again. And kids are 2 to 4 times more likely to smoke traditional cigarettes than kids who didn't smoke e-cigarettes. So we want kids to not choose to smoke e-cigarettes because it's actually going to increase. Shelley, I have a question for you. Shelley runs the teen court cases in Martin County. And of the 2019 court cases in 2019, how many have been violations for kids that have been caught vaping?
Well, first I should tell you that usually we have an average of about 21 cases a year that come through our teen court for juveniles. We are now at 29 and it's August. And of the 29, 12 of them are vaping citations.
All right, thank you for sharing that. For the first time in 17 years, youth tobacco use has increased. Why do you think that is? Do you want to tell us, Liz?
Sure. There's a lot of different reasons that youth are very attracted to these products. One of those being that they come in very kid-friendly flavors. And so they come in flavors like cotton candy and alien vape and unicorn frappe. A lot of different flavors that sound fun and exciting. And the flavors really mask the traditional tobacco taste, and so it really makes the poison go down easier. They're not having that same sort of coughing reaction, that hacking that if you've tried a cigarette when you were younger, you might have had. So that's one of the reasons. There's over 7,000 different flavors out there, and they're very appealing towards kids. Another reason is some of these different products that are being used to use e-cigarettes. So some of the devices are very easy to conceal in plain sight, and they don't look like traditional tobacco products. And I'm just going to show you some of these here. So the Juul here is one of those products. The Juul has really taken over the e-cigarette market when it comes to kids. Kids are 16 times more likely to use this product than adults are. And one pod, so one tiny pod has the nicotine equivalent of almost 2 packs of cigarettes. And so we know that there are kids that go through multiple pods a day, so they're getting addicted, and they're getting addicted very quickly. There's also products like the Soren. This is kind of the newer product coming into schools and circulating because teachers are starting to identify the Juul a little bit more often. So these can hold up to 90 milligrams of nicotine. That's the nicotine equivalent of almost 8 packs of cigarettes. That's a lot of nicotine. And so this one's a little bit different in that you can just fill up the top. So you just get your e-juice and you're able to fill it, but it's just another product that is very addictive as well. And so those are a couple reasons. Another reason is celebrity glamorization. So celebrities using these products on social media or in movies, online, that makes it more appealing. A lot of these products also use social media as their main platform for advertising. And so even if you don't see these products on social media, doesn't mean they're not there. Juul made its entire marketing platform on Instagram, and that's how kids were so attracted to these products. They saw it, they're able to use algorithms so that kids are able to see these ads while adults aren't necessarily looking at them.
Good, okay.
I just wanted to add that Liz talked about being able to conceal the devices. So now students are actually vaping in their classrooms because you can get unscented vape juice, and so they can actually vape in classrooms, and you see nothing, you smell nothing, and so unless you physically see them do this, you're none the wiser.
Kind of to add on that concealing aspect, there's a couple sweatshirt options up here, and they actually allow the teens to be able to smoke right in the classroom because they use their sweatshirt strings to vape out of. There's that convenient part that connects to the e-cigarette, and you can get any adapter so that any e-cigarette can be connected to it on the inside of the sweatshirt, and they can conveniently vape out of the drawstring right in the classroom, and the vapor disappears very quickly. There's also tons of variety of options to conceal the e-cigarettes in their backpack. This water bottle back here is not actually a water bottle, it's a concealing device, and there's a wide variety of concealing devices that they can put their vaporizers in. She's never opened it before, and maybe she wouldn't have figured out how to. There's also pop cans. Children and teens there's different pens. You can put your vaping pen inside a pen, and the pen will actually still write, or the Sharpie, but they can put their e-cigarette inside. So there's just so many different ways for it to be concealed and brought into our schools.
Vaping in the schools, out of all of our citations that came in for vaping, out of the 12, 10 of them were either in school or on the school bus. So it's been, this summer we've had a little downtime, but we're expecting once school starts again that it'll pick up and we'll see more vaping citations.
And I want to tell you that I have an office at the high school in Fairmont, but I also get into all the schools in Martin County. And I want to say kudos to the schools and to the teachers and administration there for working so hard to try and keep this stuff out of our schools. They really are. They're working together to try and keep this out of the schools. They're trying to educate the kids. A lot of the kids don't realize what they're even vaping, and that's kind of one of our next questions. Isn't it just water vapor when you vape? Anyone think it's just water? No. So the only thing that can produce water vapor is water, but e-cig vapor isn't harmless. It contains aerosolin, it causes irreversible lung damage, and also nicotine, formaldehyde, carcinogens, benzene, I don't know how to say that one.
Yeah.
Acetaldehyde and heavy metals like lead and nickel are all found in the vaping juice. And one of the things I want to say, so what I have in my kit doesn't look so pretty because it's kits that I've taken from different schools where the students have had these confiscated from them. And one of the most irritating things and enlightening things that I learned was that because they're not FDA approved, they can write whatever they want on them. So on the front of this one, it says 0% nicotine. This is really fruity flavored vape juice. It smells like pineapple fruit is what it's called, and it smells really good. But on the front of it, it says there's no nicotine in this. So when kids think they're not vaping nicotine, that's why. But if you look on the back, there's a warning, and it says this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is addictive. And it is, and it goes straight to their brain. So they don't have to put that there's nicotine on there. But what is it, 99% of them have nicotine in them, even if they say they aren't when they're tested. So back to Shelley, how does the teen court diversion program work with teens who have been caught vaping? So what happens with kids when they get caught vaping?
So when a youth is caught vaping and they receive a citation and it's their first offense, they can be referred to our teen court program. So they admit that they have vaped and they go before a jury of their peers. And we have 26 students, youth throughout Martin County that serve on our teen court jury. And so they are trained to ask the student questions specifically about vaping and tobacco and about their violation. And then they present the student with constructive consequences that they have to complete within 6 months. So some of our constructive consequences for students who've been caught vaping. Number one, we want to educate them and provide them more information about vaping and the negative effects it can have on their health. And so most of the time we'll see those offenders come through and they'll be required to take our tobacco awareness program class, which we have worked with the American Lung Association on our slideshow that gives us a lot of facts and figures, and also really lets the students know that those tobacco companies are targeting them specifically. So we go through how they're targeting the youth, because Tobacco companies know that people who have smoked all of their life are going to die, and they need replacement people. And so they've targeted our youth, especially with Juul and with vaping, and we're seeing that. We're seeing the rise. I also like to give them new information that comes across. Like today, I just read Kara Levin has a news story that came out yesterday that Children's Hospital is reporting 4 youth that have severe lung damage linked to vaping. And so we're seeing more and more health effects coming about, and so we share that with our youth. We also go through statistics, and students then may also have to write an essay, 2-page, 500-word essay on the negative effects of vaping, and then maybe some community work service hours as well. So we really try to have them, hold them accountable for the offense, but also educate them on what they're doing to their bodies. And if they need support because they do have an addiction, we try to get them connected with supportive services to help them through that process.
Great. So as Shelley was saying, there are more and more evidence showing now about the health risks of e-cigarettes, and I think it's so brand new, a lot of people don't know yet. But I know that our young people are smart and they will see this, and we need to support them and help them in any way they can so they do not feel peer pressure to vape. And so that's what we're just trying to do today, is educate you all on ways that we can help prevent and educate and empower you to help prevent your kids from ever starting. Grandkids, nieces, nephews, if you're a coach, if you are a teacher, if you're an administrator, if you're a parent in the school, kids will look up to you and they listen to you. And so when you get a chance to tell them how valuable their help is, please do that, right? So, a couple other questions that we have here. Won't youth find a way to get tobacco, regardless of what age it is? Well, right now I want to mention that you only have to be 18 years old to buy tobacco products in most all of Martin County. But there is a movement, there are some stores that have already decided to make that 21. So Walmart has already said they will not sell to anyone under 21 tobacco products. Walgreens has said that. If we could try and see if there are people in our community who would want to help us make that change. There are communities all across Minnesota that are working on Tobacco 21, where you do have to be 21 to buy tobacco. 75% of young people ages 15 to 17 that get any kind of tobacco products get it from social sources like their friends, older brothers and sisters. A lot of high school students, even seniors are 18 already. And so it kind of makes it hard because legally they can buy it, but they cannot have it on our school properties. But then it makes it easier for them to be selling it to the younger kids. So we would like feedback from anyone who is interested in letting us know if Tobacco 21 is something that our community would like to pursue. We do have in our booth a survey. We'd like to hear from you. There's just 3 questions that you can take the survey right on your phone. What else would you guys like to share? Do you have any questions? Are there any questions that we can field in our audience here?
Tell us about those signs there.
Great. Yes. Who would like to spot? Yes. Liz will talk.
So we created some of these posters here to help parents see how easy it is to conceal these products in plain sight. And so in this poster down here we have, So in this poster here we have a lot of different e-cigarette products, but we also have products that are not tobacco products. And so we're asking people to try and spot out what the tobacco product is. And so we have 4 or 5 tobacco products on here. And you can see that some of these are so similar. So we have an iPhone here. and a Soren here. They're very similar products. We have a flash drive down here, and we have a Juul here. And so, who needs to hide these products? Kids. It's not adults. These are not products that are made for adults. Up here, I'll move this to the side. We have the flavored products that are out there. And so, some of these are flavored products. Some of these are products that kids already use. And so, we have the whipped cream here. It's very hard to tell which one the e-juice is. So not only does it taste like products that kids like, it looks like the product, so they can leave it on their dresser, and mom and dad aren't going to know what it is. They're going to think it's that regular product. And so this here is the e-liquid. It'd probably be hard to guess that unless you looked really close to it. Here we have juice boxes. Again, very hard to tell which one's the juice box, which one's the e-juice. This one's actually the e-juice. Again, with the trolley and the sour worms, this one is the e-juice. And so these are just showing some of those products that really mimic products you've already used. It's very, very common to have, there's over 7,000 flavors out there, and they want to make it appealing to kids.
And kids are so smart. If you ask them anything, like how to look something up or whatever, they Google everything. So as parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and coaches, I challenge you to Google this information, because it's amazing what's out there, and I think we need to educate ourselves and be able to have the conversation with our kids to be able to see, what's out there, what they're seeing, and how we can support them to be alcohol and chemical free. I think that's really important. We still know that there are more kids choosing not to do this than there are choosing to do it. So we have to support them and help them and be able to talk with them and let them ask questions and not feel afraid that we don't know all the answers, because we don't know all the answers. No one does. And really good kids sometimes make really bad choices, and that just happens. But it's not about the mistake, because everyone makes mistakes. It's about how you can learn from it and what we can do to help empower them so that they don't make it again. So that's kind of what we're all about today. Do you all have any other questions?
I just think it would be important to talk about some of the other health risks that are lesser known with e-cigarettes. And so we talked about how cigarettes are linked to severe respiratory diseases, and that's very serious, but there's also some pretty serious side effects that are not including that. And so one of those being battery explosions. And so because this product isn't regulated again, we're seeing a lot of battery explosions from this. It's not quite as common as some of these other side effects, but they can cause serious harm, especially when it's in somebody's mouth. We learned last month that somebody died from a battery explosion from the lithium battery in the e-cigarette. And so that's the risk you take when you start using these products. FDA also recently came out with a statement that it's linked to seizures, and so that's likely due to the nicotine toxicity. There's very high levels of nicotine in these products, like we had talked about before. There can be 5 times the amount of nicotine in these products compared to a regular cigarette. There's also, of course, the risk of continuing addiction. So moving on from e-cigarettes to regular cigarettes, kids are 3.5 times more likely to move on to regular tobacco. And so what we once might have thought of could be a cessation opportunity has actually become a gateway drug for kids. And then what Steph talked about before, these products aren't regulated. I have no idea how these products are made, what sort of hygiene standards are in place. Is this made in a laboratory, or is this made in a toilet bowl? Nobody's watching to make sure that these are made in a safe way. And it's very clear now that we're seeing these side effects that there's a lot of issues.
And the hygiene and the toilet bowl reminded me about school. And unfortunately, I've had kids come up to me and talk to me at school about being afraid to go into the bathrooms. They don't want to go into the bathrooms because they might walk in on someone who's vaping in the bathroom. And that's not fair that those kids have to feel like that. So we're working really hard to try to combat that. But one of the things that I learned that I think is an important conversation to have with your kids is that some of these vaping devices are being put in the boys' or girls' underwear because they don't want to be found at school. So they're carrying them around in their underwear and pulling them out in the bathroom and passing them around and sucking on them to use them. So speaking of hygiene, there's all kinds of things that you could get from that as well. So I think that's an important conversation to have with your kids and to have with, with administration at school. If there's a certain bathroom, we've been lucky enough to have students tell us, hey, between these classes, nobody wants to go into that bathroom because this is what's going on. And if you let someone know, we'll make sure it's not happening.
And then I just wanted to add, as a school official, in addition to utilizing these devices for nicotine products, they're not just using them for nicotine products, they are using them to hide marijuana. And so as a school official, you now have marijuana products that no longer smell like marijuana. And so we can no longer tell by confiscating said item whether the item has nicotine in it or marijuana. And so that's one more battle that we're fighting on that forefront to figure out what is it that a student is trying to smuggle into school and sharing with their peers, because that is what they're doing, they're sharing it with their peers.
But if you Google, there's a kit called Parents and Pot, a marijuana test kit. This is a kit that you can order online if you are concerned that you have found a vaping device and you think it may be marijuana. This can test it.
I think another thing that people bring up a lot is waiting for someone else to do something and not necessarily wanting to step up as a community. We've been waiting for the FDA to do things with e-cigarettes, to put these labels on them, to regulate them. A lot of people will say, well, why don't we wait until the state level does something with the sale age being 21, and this year it didn't pass at the state level. They want to see more community action, and Minnesota has a history of strong community roots, and just like the Clean Indoor Air Act, we want to have that same momentum with the Tobacco 21 Act and raising the sale age to 21. We need to protect our children, and that's why it's really important.
I hear from a lot of people who ask the question, okay, if my child at the age of 18 can go and fight in the military, why can't you let them smoke a cigarette? It's the same argument we have with why can't they have a beer if they can go out and fight in the military. And on its face, that seems like a very logical question. However, my response to that question is always the same. Fighting in the military is not going to affect your child's brain chemistry. We know that in development, a child's brain is not fully developed until their early 20s, and for some until 25. If we can delay the onset of any chemical use, the likelihood of them abusing that chemical goes down. Further, the likelihood of them starting using a chemical goes down, because now our maturity level has raised and the impact that chemical is going to have on their brain isn't going to be nearly as harsh. So while I can respect the question, yes, if my child at 18 can hold a gun, why can't they hold a cigarette? I respect that, but that gun is not going to alter the chemistry of that child's brain, and that I can't respect.
All MAT branches of the military actually support the T21 movement because they want a military force that is strong and ready.
Great. Do you all have any other questions for us? You're welcome to come up and look at our devices that we have. You're welcome to come and ask us questions. Our booth is the first booth in the middle center, kind of right out coming in from the door. Again, we're Martin County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition and YOCO. YOCO is our youth coalition. YOCO is open to any students in grades 7 through 12 all across Martin County. And these are students that want to empower their peers to be leaders in being drug and alcohol free. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to build our environment to make it easier for kids to make healthy choices and harder for them to make unhealthy choices. So we're working on environmental strategies like a social host ordinance, like a T21, different environmental strategies that'll really make an impact and help keep our kids safe. Thank you all for your time today. We appreciate it.